Hey folks, here's a non-story of the day. This is originally showcased as ex-Ubisoft creative boss can Dragon Age dev's King Arthur game. That sounds very strange. What the heck is Dragon Age dev doing at Ubisoft? Well, that's Mike Laidlaw. He got hired over at Ubisoft for about a year and a half. And his wonderful LinkedIn page didn't say anything about it. He was just in Quebec City. Fantastic. He did nothing there, or nothing to talk about, or nothing worth mentioning, although you really should put something on your profile saying, I worked on X, I did this, I managed a team, I did code, whatever. You should at least say something. But we have no idea what's up with Mike Laidlaw here. This was originally published in Bloomberg.com, unless I've gotten this wrong, just this morning. And it talks about Serge Hascoët, the guy who resigned under allegations of sexual misconduct, all sorts of nasty things, what have you. So he has a rather high standard for fantasy genre or fantasy genre games. We don't know why. We don't know what that implies. He just wants something better than Tolkien, which is almost impossible. He's talking about the granddaddy of all fantasy. If you're going to write a story, you're inspired by Tolkien. If you're going to make a game, you're going to use a fantasy setting. You better believe it. There's going to be some medieval concepts. There's going to be some magic. There's going to be some elves, some magical element that was thought about by Tolkien or brought about by Tolkien. So it was a big budget adventure called Avalon, involving stories of King Arthur and the Round Table in a sword and sorcery fantasy world full of knights and legends. But just over a year later, before releasing the games, Laidlaw quit. So we don't know why Laidlaw quit. And here's his final message saying, January 31st was my last day. Huge thanks to the talented and welcoming folks at Ubisoft Quebec City for my time there. So he's very professional. He doesn't say there's anything wrong. Maybe his project got canned. He got pissed off. We don't know. We don't know the full story. Either way, he's doing the right thing and just quitting and saying that was cool. Peace out. Here's another post of him on March 19th, a year prior, where he talks about how much he likes it there. It's only been 3 months. It's very enjoyable. In terms of things I'm really impressed by, there's a central group at Ubisoft who are very active. So he seemed to really enjoy his time there, at least for the first few months. After that, we have no idea. We don't know how projects ended up turning out. But clearly he wasn't too happy, or maybe they fired him. We're not sure. So this was all in Quebec, of course, so he had to move down there. Apparently his grip on power, we're talking about Serge, also stifled creativity at Ubisoft, according to people familiar with the company's internal procedures. Okay, fine, that's true. Maybe Serge was such a control freak and misogynistic that nothing could get done, and a lot of projects got canned. Regardless, he did know one thing, and that's in regards to the Assassin's Creed series. So in Odyssey, originally it was just planned for Cassandra. And now, when Serge came in, he's like, no, you got to make at least a male playable character. You got to put the option in there at least. And they did. They made Alexios, and you had the choice of choosing between the two siblings. And what ended up happening is 2/3 of the player base chose Alexios. Now, that's either connected to their network so that they know people are playing as such, because obviously people who don't connect to the internet to play these games can't record their data. So voila, for whatever reason, whether it's misogyny or he just knows his clients, 2/3 of them played as male. For whatever reason, we don't know. Again, he could be misogynist, he could be sexist, he could know these things. He could be a good businessman, he could know his clientele. It could be any of these explanations, it's not important. But he did the right thing in this case. So, interesting. I would love to see Mike Laidlaw go up to the challenge of being better than Tolkien. If there was a guy to do it, I think it would be the guy who worked on the Dragon Age series, which is a dark fantasy setting. I think he would have been up to the challenge. I think it would have been a thing that would have put a different feather in Ubisoft's cap if they could pull that off. So apparently Mike Laidlaw and his idea for budget didn't fit well with Serge's opinions or other people's opinions. Who knows? But always curious to find out what's going on in the world of video games or AAA titles, at least in Canada for me, and Dragon Age, which there's virtually no information on this year. But hey, bravo Ubisoft for canning another project. Maybe it was a good move, maybe it wasn't. I have no clue. Either way, thanks for listening, folks, and have yourself a great day.